So we've got breaking news. We're going to head back actually to Georgia, where the special prosecutor there, Nathan Wade, who we just mentioned, has actually resigned from Donald Trump's Georgia election trial. As you know, we reported the judge's ruling, Scott McAfee, today, where he said that DA Fani Willis could remain on the case if Nathan Wade were to leave. And it looks like what we were predicting has happened. We've now received actually the letter that Nathan Wade wrote to the office of Fulton County District Attorney there, Fani Willis, that he was going to remove himself from the case. And he says in this letter, the furtherance of the rule of law and democracy is and always has been the North Star of our combined efforts in the prosecution of those who are alleged to have attempted to overthrow the results of Georgia's election. As directed by the order in the state of day in the case, he says, I hereby offer my resignation. And Fani Willis wrote him back, Nathan Wade. She says, I will always remember and will remind everyone that you were brave enough to step forward to take on this investigation. You are an outstanding advocate. Please accept my sincere gratitude on behalf of the citizens of Fulton County, Georgia, for your patriotism, courage, and dedication to justice. Let's bring in ABC News investigative reporter Olivia Rubin, along with former Georgia District Attorney, prosecutor Chris, and ABC News contributor Chris Timmons. So first, Olivia, catch us up to speed here. I've just taken a quick look at this. This comes as no surprise, right?
No surprise at all, and I think you just hit the key points in that letter saying from Nathan Wade that he is resigning in the interest of democracy. And I think what is so key to remember about this decision that the DA's office made here, Terry, is that this is the route that is going to let them move forward with the prosecution of Donald Trump as quick as possible. You know, possibility of an appeal aside, efforts to appeal set aside, this means that the case will move forward essentially effective immediately because she is not stepping down, so there is no need for the case to go over to an independent body, to have a new prosecutor assigned, to slow the case down in that way. It prevents any further stalling in this sense. So because of this decision, the case now moves forward with the district attorney and her entire team that has been working on this case, many of them for years, Terry.
So, Chris, we're all reading the letters here, and I don't know if you both had a chance to read both, but the letter that Wade sent Fani Willis and then Fani Willis's respond to Wade, I mean, they may have broken up and it may not have worked out romantically, but these letters, I mean, I'm just addressing the elephant in the room here, okay? But the letters here, they're very respectful. They clearly thought about what they said. They're being very legal in what they're writing, but also kind of patting each other on the back, as in, you know, you were brave, you were great, glad we did this, and good luck, and keep on with your adventure here.
Yeah, I mean, Kira, so these letters were written in mind with millions of people going to be reading them. So I'm sure there were multiple drafts in between the time that we got the ruling early this morning and now. So, you know, I think she knows what she wanted to say. It's essentially a press release from both of them. Nathan Wade saying that, you know, now is the time for us to put forward the interests of the citizens of the United States, the voters who voted in the 2020 election, and to put all of those things above himself. So it's a very well-written letter, very gracious letter, but it does exactly what Judge McAfee wanted to have happen in this case. That means that Nathan Wade is resigning. There's no reason at this point for the state to appeal his order. Not that we thought that they were going to do that, but that removes any question of the state coming into an appeal. And then it sets up whether the defense at this point wants to try to remove Fani Willis, who remains. And so that's really where we are at this point, Kira. That we've essentially got two press releases that came out, and they tell us importantly that those two are off the case, or that Nathan Wade is off the case, that she remains.
Right. And Chris, if I can follow up and ask you a question about, you know, the Judge McAfee's order was so tough. You know, he said there wasn't enough evidence to determine a conflict of interest, but that was in part because of what he said was the odor of mendacity around their testimonies. And what has the reaction of the public been there, and of the bar? You know, these letters are very effusive in their language towards each other. Is that opinion shared by the general public, or is this kind of a black eye on the Fulton County District Attorney's Office?
Well, so like I said, the order of mendacity is not something you ever once said about you or your case as a prosecutor. It's highly, highly unusual to see a judge criticize the sitting district attorney. Keep in mind, this is not the only case she has before Judge McAfee. He can have up to 1,000 criminal cases, all of which are brought in the name of Fani Willis, pending in his courtroom at any given time. So, you know, to use that kind of language toward her, I think was done thoughtfully, but also to indicate his displeasure with the way that this case had been treated up until this point. Nevertheless, at the end of the day, the DA's office, despite having these scathing comments written about them, is able to continue. And that's sort of what you're getting from the bar, is that this was not a good look on behalf of Fani Willis or Nathan Wade. There was even some confusion at the beginning of this case as to why Nathan Wade was handling it. Now it's sort of all wrapped up. And I think, you know, just like everything else, all eyes on Georgia, and let's move ahead with this trial.
You've worked with Fani Willis. I don't know if you've worked with Nathan Wade. Please tell me if you have or haven't. But do you know? Okay, you have. So do you have any idea if they're still friends?
I don't. So I'm not personal friends with either one of them. Nathan Wade was a longtime defense attorney, particularly had a number of cases up in Cobb County, and that's one of the jurisdictions where I was a prosecutor. You know, a good guy, very nice, easy to work with. Thoughtful. So, you know, I'm not surprised that he stepped down. I'm a little surprised at the speed. I thought they might take a little bit of time, you know, maybe do it Monday. But, you know, that's a credit to his character that he recognized that he was an impediment to this prosecution, at least according to the judge, and he removed himself and that impediment from the case. I wouldn't have been surprised, even if there was no disqualification of either one of them, for him to resign just to get him out of the picture. I think as Nathan Wade is, you know, sitting in a courtroom, particularly with a group of jurors, those jurors are going to be thinking about the relationship that he has with Fani Willis. So I think moving forward, we won't see Nathan Wade obviously anymore, but I don't think we're going to see much of Fani Willis in the courtroom. I think she's going to try and remove herself from the situation, get rid of that odor of mendacity that the court talked about, get rid of, you know, the image of her being unprofessional on the stand, and let the facts of this case govern whether there's guilt or innocence of any of the defendants in this case.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.